Hey guys, ignore the squinting. We're staring into the sun, so you won't be staring into the sun. We are, well, you know, they say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But if the lemons are rotten, it don't work. So me and Tiffany are getting ready to go through our sad bloody butcher plot. This was our drought tolerant testing that we were doing for the year. And we're sad to say we had a severely drought year, but we also had massive waterfall from hurricane, which also came along with massive winds, which blowed over our corn before it was ready to be blown over, didn't it? So what we're going to try to do is go through here and see what we got that's salvageable. It's not going to be pretty. We'll bring you along for the journey, show you some of what we find.
I already got the first row, by the way.
Yeah, Tiffany's already pulled the first roll out, so we're going to probably follow behind Tiffany here and do some filming and look and see what we've got. We had about 6 varieties in here, or 8, something like that altogether, and see what we got. So
I think we only had 4 or 5. One row basically never came up there.
We're hoping for enough for a seed stock for next year. If not, we still got last year's seed stock, yeah. But we would really love to have a new generation of corn. We really like our Bloody Butcher corn. It is great for making grits and cornmeal.
That it is.
So, let's see what we got. We'll follow Tiffany for a minute.
So this one of the prettiest ears I got. And we have records of what this one is back there. Well, I thought that was one of the prettiest ones I got. I've been watching it a little bit, but apparently not.
Not as pretty as you'd hoped.
No.
That is useless.
Is completely useless.
That'll be chicken feed.
Yeah.
She'll just throw that in a separate spot. And this may all be this way, guys. She pulled some already. We could have got it as soon as it hit the ground, but it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready.
So, that one is usable. That actually was one of the striped variety kinds.
Was this the Bloody Butcher that was striped, or was this another variety?
Nope, this was all Bloody Butcher.
Thought we planted one that wasn't.
Nope.
So, very cool. So this is something we'll be working with over the years to come. We were trying to get some good genetic diversity into our corn, and hopefully. We were just hoping the critters wouldn't find it all before we had a chance to deal with it.
So this was the same seed, but it produced
darker color.
Yep.
Yep, and we're quite happy with that. Now that's not as dark as our regular Bloody Butcher is, but we were intentionally working with different strains here to try to get diversity and to find out what was the most drought tolerant, because we do not irrigate this plot at all. This corn, whatever gets planted here, squash, it has to take care of itself. And we'll let Tiffany open up a few more.
That one came out completely white.
So, completely white.
Same kernel of corn. Well, same type of corn.
Yep. So now we end up with another striped one.
Yep.
Beautiful corn, but not what we want to use in our Bloody Butcher. Alright guys, so this is what we're working with. Usually we got 9-foot tall stalks of Bloody Butcher standing here by now, but between the drought and the hurricane, we're going to go through it and see what we got. So we'll bring you back in a minute. We'll have a discussion. Okay guys, gals, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, it was definitely pathetic.
Yeah.
We usually harvest way more than this. So part of this is because of the drought. Part of this is because of Hurricane Helen. Anyway, the bad one that devastated this area. We didn't get a lot of flooding from it. Very minimal. I'm trying to block the sun from you guys. We got very minimal flooding, but we got a lot of wind damage, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
So blowed over this whole crop of corn that was still maturing. It needed a few more weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It was maturing and drying, so we lost some to that. And we are no spray, guys. We are absolutely no spray. We're certified organic, and I say absolutely no spray. It's not that we won't spray if we don't. If Tiffany wasn't holding our real organic sign upside down, it would be a little better to look at. So, as you can see, we are certified real organic project also.
Makes a great sunshade.
Yeah. But anyway, we only spray when we absolutely have to, and we have never sprayed corn.
No.
May have to one day, but we've never sprayed it. We try to rotate it.
I don't mind a little buggy here and there.
Yeah, we don't at all. We just cut the ends off and roll with it.
And I think our customers appreciate
our
that.
customers are very appreciative of it. The ones that
we've
want that. We got customers that's not what they're looking for, and they may gripe a little bit, but 90% of our customers come back begging for more, worms and all.
Yep.
Their motto is, if the worms won't eat it, I don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much true.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to turn you around. We're going to show you some of what we got. Tiffany, do you want to talk to them about some of the traits you see and some of what you saw in the rolls and so forth?
Well, we could do that as we go through and look at it. So, first tray that we did.
The first tray is
right over
chicken
here.
feed.
Yeah.
Right here.
That's
See,
that's not the first tray. That's the leftover.
They may look at this and think that's a lot of waste, but it's not.
Nope.
Our chickens will devour all of that.
So this was the first variety, and I've got details of it, and I'm not sure how Steve's phone works, but I know I can upload pictures with videos. I don't know if we'll get to do that. But anyway, so all of these have seemed to be really good sized ears. But
love that. Definitely not Bloody Butcher, but love that.
There was definitely a variety that we had of the seeds of Bloody Butcher that had some
striping and lighter colors
like that. So, but we have some that's almost white with striping. We've got some that's much darker, and we've got some that's really much darker striping.
And everything in there will probably get used except for that yellow one.
Yeah.
The yellow's not what we're looking for.
Now, our regular strain of Bloody Butcher that I've grown for years now, there's a few every now and then that come out like this, and that's fine because I don't mind grinding it into cornmeal.
Well, it's genetic diversity.
Right,
but we don't want that particular one right there because it's way too yellow for what we're going for.
Now, you can see it definitely has got the red on the inside.
Oh, yes.
And on the cob, but
yep.
But you've got some that are solid red, the stripes, light red, almost solid. Well, that one actually is solid white, so
we won't use that one either.
And that one is basically all solid.
And we won't use that one either.
And then this one probably would have been great, but it is definitely not mature. I could probably roast this and eat this right now because it is still like a young sweet corn.
But we're going to try it next year. We'll see what we can get.
And so that one also probably didn't quite come out to par, but anyway, so
we even got some beautiful ears in our rejects, but that's because there's well, I'm not sure why that one got rejected.
That one had mold. It would
okay.
laying on the ground.
I couldn't see it.
But it's also starting to.
Yeah, we had a few of them that already started to sprout where they were laying on the ground from the hurricane. But anyway, it'll make great chicken food.
Yeah. So tray number 2. Well,
so that roll did decent. Yeah. These were small rolls.
Now row number 1 did really well too, but it's already.
We only put out like 25 to 50 seeds of each one, right?
Right.
If I remember
40,
right.
It was 40 or 50 in each packet. So, this one, it's actually cool. Something has been gnawing on it and eating it. But it's really cool. If you can see right here, it's almost like it's painted because it's yellow on the inside, which Bloody Butcher is. When you start grinding it, you get yellow kernels like on the inside. But what I found with this row was, this was the only one that was that size. Everything else was this size.
So odds are it didn't do well in the drought.
Yeah, so it either produces small ears or it just doesn't do well at all.
It probably did not handle the drought very well.
That being said, they all are very uniform as far as color. That one, you got some gold into it.
We don't generally have that severe of a drought, though. This was bad.
Yeah. Last year was flood, this year was drought. Okay, this is row number 3. And so if it would have done well and it didn't handle the drought, this is all we got out of it, except for apparently the critters like to eat it. But this one's got some very dark, like black kernels up here. That could just be conditions, I don't know. It's really kind of cool though, lighter colored. This one obviously curves, but
a lot of deformity.
Corn, yeah. And then as far as the dark color, we got another one.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. And this one was the prettiest and the darkest. But then we got 2 ears that are very golden and red. So
we'll probably save seeds from that dark one and from at least this big one right here, and use those for genetic diversity.
But
and we'll probably use a couple out of the ones down at the bottom. But those really light ones that are white and painted, we'll separate those off and see how they do by themselves.
Yep. Now, I'll let Steve do row number 3.
4.
4. No, technically it's row number 5.
5.
Yeah, technically row number 5. And it did, actually row 1 and row 5 did the best of all. But this is quite uniform as far as what you get for Bloody Butcher. It's a little bit more yellow than what our corn was that we've been growing for years.
But there is different strains of it.
Right. So this one's probably about the lightest in yellow we've got here. Well, a little close there. But you definitely have a lot that's got the red and the gold in there. I really like this one.
Yep, that's a really gorgeous.
It is very dark
definitely
red.
Will be seed stock.
But you've also got that beautiful orange, as you can see.
Yep.
On the top. I like that one a lot. This one's that same way. It's just not as big of kernels, but it's really close and really pretty. Let's see. Got some red, but this is what happens when all of your corn does not get properly pollinated. Is you get missing kernels, which is also what has happened here. But this is a beautiful ear of corn, very nice. Just missing a lot. So it was either there was a lot of weeds around it, it just didn't get pollinated, who knows what happened. But I'm very happy with the 4th row, because obviously it is nice drought tolerance, and because it produced pretty good for not having any water. I think when we planted this corn, it had not rained in forever, and we didn't know what we were going to do, but we were like, well, we're just going to plant it and see what it does. Well, then it started popping up and actually coming out of the ground, and then like 2 days later it rained, and so then it all started coming up. So I was really, really happy, and it rained, and then it didn't do nothing else again until like the flood. So like I said, it done exceptionally well for the conditions that it was put through. So I think that's probably it on what we got here.
So one thing Tiffany probably didn't discuss / think about at this moment, she would have thought about it later, is rows 1 and 5 would naturally do better because they had more room to grow. Row 1 was against our potatoes, so they have plenty of room for sunshine and growth. Row 5 was against nothing but a fence and some weeds, so it had more room to grow. So the ones in the middle would naturally have had less, but not this much less, because we grow at this spacing all the time.
Yeah.
We grow Bloody Butcher every year, so I think we're seeing a big effect of the drought on this, and we see some of the varieties that shined better. So that being said, I haven't seen row 1. She harvested it without me, her and Daniel did. So I'll have to look at row 1, but as of this point, for genetic diversity, we're going to pull a little bit out of each row, but it looks like row 1 and 5 will be the majority of our seed stock for next year, and we will hand select and mix it real well and then replant, because we were aiming for genetic diversity in this test and for drought tolerance. So we show that we have that going on. So, all right, guys, we will do one more video and we'll talk about what varieties these were, because we got these seeds from the USDA. They allowed us to do this experiment and we're very thankful for it. But we have to now do our reporting back and so forth. So we'll do a second video on the variety once we get all of our notes together, and go from there. This was not a perfect test, and we may see if they will give us seeds for a couple of these varieties to try again next year. But anyway, this gives us what we want. Now, be sure to like and subscribe, share this video, and next year we're going to be working with some more Dent corns. So if you like these old heirloom Dent corns, or even maybe some modern ones from time to time, make sure you tune in. We don't just do peppers and tomatoes and cucumbers around here. We also do some other interesting stuff. And something we're passionate about is grinding our own corn. Because if you haven't paid no attention, when you go to the grocery store, your cornmeal is not always just cornmeal.
Yeah, it's usually corn, flour, and who knows whatever else they put in.
Right, and then now the problem we're running into is GMO corn. So
they have said forever that your flour corn is safe, and it is no longer safe.
Yeah, well, they've said a lot of stuff is safe, and we've proven that wrong here just lately. Yeah. They tell you that potatoes are safe, and we know for a fact that potatoes are not safe. Yeah. We was at the grocery store yesterday trying to buy French fries, and just so we was gonna make burgers, didn't have time to make them from scratch. We love making them from scratch using organic potatoes, but there was no organic options at our store, and 9 out of 10 varieties did not say they were GMO safe, and 5 out of those 10 varieties were sneaky about it. And when they didn't tell you on the bag, said see our website for more details. And when we went to the website said GMO.
Yeah. So
we don't do that. We don't do that on our farm. We avoid that. So next year we're going to be growing 2 plots of Bloody Butcher. We'll be growing our regular seed Bloody Butcher that we've had for years, and then we're going to do some testing with this again next year and compare the two. So that means we're going to need 2 plots on our farm, at least far enough apart. So we're looking at, we started planting an orchard right here, and we think we let the weeds destroy it and the deer destroy it. Yeah. So our contemplation here is that we may take this orchard out, this little small orchard. If there's any trees alive, move them somewhere else on the farm. And we may do 1 Bloody Butcher on the other end of this plot and these on this end of the plot, and then separate it with something in the middle to give us a nice spacing, so that we can grow out a couple of plots with a little bit of distance in between. That's not ideal, but it's helpful. And so that's probably what we're going to do. And we'll stagger them by planting dates too. We'll get one in the ground early, and then we'll put the other one in the ground a couple of weeks later, so we can get a little bit of stagger on what we got going on. That's no guarantee, but it helps. All right, guys, like and subscribe, share this video, and give us a thumbs up. Comment below about what your favorite type of corn is, and especially if you grow a Dent corn. Tell us about it. Thank you. Take care.